Just sit up. Hold on. Today, y'all, I've watched an embarrassing amount of Hamilton videos. I don't know who started this trend, but I'm here for it. Hold on, let me put this in here. And I love Hamilton. It's like one of my favorite It's one of my favorite Broadway plays, and I seen that it's going to be in theater September 9th or something like that. Excited, can't wait. All right, let me do a collective reading while I wait. So I just hopped on. Okay, let's see. What does the collective need to hear today? Fuck is hot. Okay. Ooh. Just sit up. Shit is so hot. Yeah, we can smoke, yeah, we can drink. Sometimes too cold when it's late. Yeah, we can smoke, yeah, we can drink. Hold on, let me see what this is about. So I'm gonna start with a collective reading first, because I feel like a lot of people are going through a lot of grief, like have a lot of grief coming up, especially around relationships and stuff like that, because that's what I've been getting through like my mentees, which makes sense because the Lion's Gate is tomorrow, which is the 8/8 portal, and that is basically releasing of old systems or old contracts, old agreements that you have, which could be like karmic loops, it could be relationships, it could be with your relationship with the corporations, like that type of thing. And so I think a lot is coming up for people who that they have not healed so that they can release it, because come Saturday, the next day is the full moon in Aquarius, and the full moon in Aquarius is about self-liberation, getting clear about what it is that you want and what it is that you want society-wise, and being able to anchor into that frequency. So I've been getting a lot of people who have their relationships and stuff coming back up for review, which is not a step backwards. I feel like so many times we believe that if something comes back to us because we think in linear time, like linear ways, that we're going backwards. And half the time that's not what's actually happening. What's actually happening is that you're revisiting something from a higher view, right? So I want to do a kind of collective energy reading first, because I feel like there is a lot coming up right now and people are panicking a little bit from what I've been receiving from the people. So the first one that I get is emotional dependence, attachment to group identity, over identifying with spiritual roles, or fear of isolation, validation seeking. And so in the shadow side, the remembrance circle can turn into a cage of belonging. You may become overly attached to the group, the role you play within it, or the identity it reflects back to you. There's a risk of emotional dependence, believing that your wholeness only exists inside the circle and fearing you'll disappear outside of it. Meaning, like, a lot of people are struggling to stand alone. A lot of people are holding on to relationships that probably do not serve them anymore. Hey, B-Cat. They probably don't serve them anymore, because they want to belong, which, I mean, I've struggled with that so many times in my life. I erased myself because I was trying to fit in with my family, so it don't really necessarily even have to be somebody outside of you. Sometimes it could be, your family. It could be the people that you're around. You want to be accepted. I think it's just a natural part of us as humans wanting to be accepted. So spiritual families can offer deep healing, but they are not meant to replace your own inner compass, meaning like we really have to get comfortable relying on ourself and our own intuition and our own guidance, instead of outsourcing, right? So if you're finding yourself shrinking to stay included or attaching your work to being seen, it's time to return to the center of your own current. So the advice of this card in reverse is that, yes, the circle is sacred, but so is your individuality within it. Okay. Which, again, that might be a contract that we're releasing on a collective level, is wanting to belong, and at the expense of us wanting to belong, we sacrifice ourselves and erase ourselves when there's enough space for multiple things to exist. And then the next thing I get is the Guardian Seal, which is actually a beautiful, beautiful card. It talks about thresholds and making sure you protect your space, protect yourself. So let me jump into this, and I pulled this out on the upright side. So this is about energetic boundaries and sacred thresholds and protecting your truth, protecting your flame. It's about using discernment as well. So the guardian seal marks the moment a flame bearer remembers their role as a threshold keeper. No longer just a vessel or a seeker, you now become one who protects the integrity of sacred space, whether it is your body, whether it is your temple, whether it is your community, whether it is your path. This card appears when a threshold has been crossed or is about to be, which again, we have the Lion's Gate portal that's coming up on 8/8. It is a huge, huge, huge spiritual number and spiritual point, okay? Which I'll talk about tomorrow when I come on here to do the ritual. Because I will be coming on tomorrow to do a releasing ritual, because since it is such a potent time when it comes to ending contracts, energetic contracts, I want us to collectively release some of these energetic contracts we have with these corporations, which AKA our government. Okay. So it is the energetic gate between realms, often placed by your oversoul, guides, or ancestral protectors to hold the integrity of your path. This card confirms that you are protected. A choice, contract, or soul initiation has been sealed by higher guidance. This card appears when you are learning to say no with clarity. Okay. So this is about energetic discernment, energetic boundaries. It is okay to want to be accepted. However, you need to make sure in the process of that you maintain your integrity, which means you have to maintain your individuality. To close gates that once remained open and to discern what is worthy of your energy. Okay. Hey, Abby. You're welcome, my love. You may feel called to protect the flame you've been tending, shielding it from mimicry, from invasion or misalignment. This is not about defensiveness, it's about devotion. So, me personally, in these last couple of weeks, I have been very particular about what I engage in and what I don't engage in, who I engage with and who I don't engage with, because I feel like sometimes a lot of people will try to pull me into their orbit or pull me into their BS. And I feel like I get a lot of that from social media. Like people will try to people think in polarity consciousness, right? Which means right or wrong. And so some people who want to be seen as right will come and start attacking me or something that I'm saying because they want me to be wrong so they can be right, you know? And so I've been finding myself just blocking people recently because I don't got the time. And I also feel like I've dropped into this energy of neutrality where I don't feel a need to have to prove or convince you of anything. I don't have to prove nothing to you, you know? And I've been standing on that. So, yeah. Anyways, so this guardian seal this card is about your rite of passage being underway. So you may be standing before a metaphorical gate and need to ask, what do I allow? What do I now close for good? Okay. Lion's Gate tomorrow. A closing of contracts. That could be soul contracts. That could be past life contracts. That could be relationships that you've been tethered to. Again, that could be corporation, the connection we have with our government as well. Okay. So the guardian seal reminds you that not everything deserves access to your flame. Your boundaries are holy. It also invites you to become the guardian now of your energy, of your gifts, of your sacred codes that you carry. You may be called to uphold boundaries that feel difficult, close access points that leak power, and stand in your role as a steward of flame wisdom. This card speaks to sacred responsibility and to the unseen ways you have already been held. So the lesson here is that every sacred fire requires a guardian at the gate, and boundaries are sacred geometry. Protect the codes that you carry. Okay. So now is a really, really important time for you to protect your energy. Okay. And if there's anything that you're tired of dealing with, or anything that you want to release, tomorrow is a great day to do it. Again, it is followed by a full moon in Aquarius. So these next 2 days are insane when it comes to how potent the energy is. You know, and lions are guardians, they're protectors, right? And not only that, they're solar energy, they're purely masculine, active energy, you know? Oh, I forgot about this song. This is my shit. Take me seriously. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. You feel it love. All right, so next we got the sacred spiral. So this is telling you things are not linear. Things are moving in a spiral, right? So this was an upright card. And so this is about completion. It's about integration. It's about, hey, Lisa, I am a sacred city, heart for lions. Completion, integration, cycle fulfillment, sovereign embodiment, DNA awakening. Yeah, because there's a meteor shower too. I don't know if y'all know that there's a meteor shower next week on the 13th. Now, they say a meteor shower is like a meteor breaking apart, and we see in all the things, right, that happen because of that. But on a spiritual level, that's download. That's upgrade energy, right? And so that's literally following this lion's portal, then the full moon, then the meteor shower is so much potent energy. You better use it to your benefit. I'm telling you, tomorrow I will be on live to walk us through a ritual to release any of these contracts that we have that we don't know that we have, right? So the sacred spiral is about multidimensional embodiment. So it is accumulation of your soul's remembered journey. It is the inhale and exhale of lifetimes, that exodus and return, the exodus and return, the holy closure. To pull this card is to stand at the center of the spiral and realize you are no longer becoming, you are. What was fragmented is now integrated. What was sought is now revealed to be within. The sacred spiral is a final breath before rebirth. Final breath before rebirth. You have traveled through flame and shadow, remembrance and rupture, and now you stand in the center of your own spiral, aware that all paths have been leading back to you. This is the oversoul integration point. You are no longer walking towards remembrance. You are walking as remembrance. Okay. So those of us who have been doing the work over these last couple years, these next couple days are so fucking important for us. Your oversoul has rooted. Your path no longer needs proving. You offer your presence not from striving, but from sovereign overflow. This card affirms that a soul cycle is complete. What you once felt separate is now singing in harmony. You are embodied wisdom, not only from this life, but from countless timelines now converging into a sovereign frequency. The sacred spiral reminds you that your path was never linear. Okay, you were always spiraling. You spiral forward by turning inwards because the journey is in, it's not up. Okay, you ascend by rooting deeper. This card is a celebration, a sacred nod from the universe. This may arrive after a long cycle of personal rebirth or the full embodiment of your sacred flame. You are both the journey and the destination. You now walk as a seeker, but as one who carries the code. The lesson here is you are not here to be completed. You are the completion. Healing is not linear. Honor the spiral of your return. Now I want to take a second real quick because I feel like in this last week, I have been struggling a little bit with my new like offerings and stuff like that. And the reason being is because it just looks different from what I had in my head, you know? And so like I had this idea of what I wanted my life to be in my head. And so like getting to where I am, it's not that I'm not proud of where I am, because I'm absolutely proud of where I am. I've come a long fucking way. However, sometimes that old version of me plays in the back of my head and I'm just like, damn, I thought I was going to be doing this or doing that, you know? And I had somebody like reach out to me, was like, oh yeah, like I see that you're doing tarot. And to me, it made me cringe because I'm not doing tarot. Like I'm not doing tarot. This is an oversoul codex that I've made in, you know, in the form of a tarot deck so that we have old technology in modern form. So it's not anything different than what you already are doing. However, the message is different. You know, it's soul encoded, right? And so that made me think about how I have innately felt misunderstood my entire life. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing or what path I go on, I've innately felt misunderstood. And it made me realize that old version of myself was somebody else's dream. And I don't understand why I'm still holding on to that or holding space for that when that was somebody else's dream. It wasn't even me. It wasn't even a version of me that I had when I was my truest self, if that makes sense. You know, so when I got up this morning, and maybe I'll share it with y'all. This is kind of personal. I don't know if I want to share it with y'all because I'm kind of scared a little bit. But I got up this morning and I just started writing, right? Because I was in the shower, and in the shower, I be getting downloads. I be getting all the things, right? Okay, my love. Today I'm doing 1 card pulls and 3 card pulls. But I was in the shower and I was getting a download, and I was like thinking about, when I said that I was going to write a book or whatever. And I kept on thinking about these moments in my life that, hold on, y'all. I kept thinking about these moments in my life that had ultimately shaped me, or like took me further, like far away from myself. And how in the moment that it was happening, I felt so invisible. I felt so unseen. And I was thinking about this one particular moment that started my people pleasing. Like literally for the next 18 years, I people pleased. I was everything to everybody. I was building a life that did not belong to me, And so to be at this place right now in life where I am actually building a life that I want to build, I'm still being misunderstood. And that's something that I had to navigate this entire week, is trying to figure out how to exist while still being misunderstood and not give a fuck. Because my mama tell me that I give too many fucks, So that's kind of strange, but I think that when tomorrow, as this energy comes, that's something that I'm going to be releasing. But I think it's important for this message about the sacred spiral, because this is the moment that you stop trying to prove yourself, that you realize that your journey just looks different, and it's okay for your journey to look different. What you're embodying is not the same as what somebody else is embodying, or what somebody else wants you to embody, so that they can feel like, because they're seeing you as an extension of their ego, and they can feel like they've done something right because you've done it the right way. I don't know how else to like say that, So what you got to understand is that on your journey, the journey is inwards. The journey is about you becoming the version of yourself that you want to become, and then once you become that version, you're still going to have those things that you thought that you got over, because the specific point that I'm talking about that I was feeling this morning, I was 12, and so I'm now 33, looking back at something when I was 12 and still needing to alchemize it at 33, which is kind of fucking crazy. So you're always going to be spiraling, you just have to understand that what you create is what you create. You are the journey, you are the destination. Nothing outside of you is the journey or the destination. You are. And so there's a completion that's coming, and I'm actually really happy about that. Okay. And then the last one is the flame steward. And the flame steward is important because, and this is not in regular tarot, like if you had to compare it to something, it would be similar to the Hierophant, but it's not the fucking Hierophant, because this is more so about you not being a savior anymore. Like you not jumping in and trying to save people and trying to help people heal and trying to fix them. It's you realizing that everybody's on their own separate journey and allowing them space to fulfill their journey however they're supposed to be fulfilling their journey, because you don't even know what their journey is. It's you being able to witness without jumping in, and you being the sacrifice and depleting yourself trying to save somebody else who is just on different shit than you are. So the flame steward appears when the bearer is ready to carry their light in service to other people. So when you are ready to receive or embody sacred teachings encoded in your oversoul, this is not a performance. It is a path, a sacred agreement, a living transmission. This card does not point to external gurus. It reflects the inner temple wisdom you've carried through lifetimes. You're being asked to tend the flame you hold, not as a student seeking approval, but as the lineage bearer reactivating your role. You may be drawn to teachings, books, guides, or ceremonies, but more than anything, you are remembering how to hold the flame with integrity, meaning being true to yourself. The flame steward calls you to honor your codes, to preserve what is sacred, to discern what is true, and to step forward as both initiate and initiator. This is the stewardship of wisdom through living embodiment. You may feel yourself called to step forward as a teacher, a guide, a channel, or a spiritual leader, not because you want to, but because your soul has done this before. This card often arises during times of remembrance, when past life initiations or soul lineages begin to reveal themselves. Now, when it comes to oversoul embodiment, lion gate portals are initiate points, meaning that it is an initiation that you are moving through. Okay, it is a portal. So you may feel drawn to temples, codes, or practices you never learned because you're not learning them now, you're remembering them. To pull this card is to be reminded you are a steward, not a savior. The flame steward tends to knowledge with humility, not ego. They do not claim ownership of the fire. They simply know how it holds with reverence. If you've been waiting for permission to step into your role, this card is your flame lit invitation. Okay, so the lesson with this card is sacred service begins not with knowing everything, but with remembering you've done this before, meaning trusting yourself. Trusting yourself is in you, it's not on you. You know, like to embodying that energy. And then you carry ancient wisdom, teach only what you've embodied, meaning you got to make sure you integrate. You are actually practicing the things that you're talking about, you know, because I think it's so many of us who don't integrate what it is, or we don't ground into what it is that we tell other people to do, meaning that it's so easy for us to go around and tell you, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. But some of us need to take our own fucking advice. We haven't actually started applying the wisdom to our lives. That's what this card is about. It's telling you you should only be teaching what you have now embodied, meaning you should become the example that you want other people to see, but you got to be the example of that thing first, because that's how you teach without being in saviorship, meaning depleting yourself at the expense of other people, because you're doing the work for them. I can't tell you how many times in my life people have come to me and asked for my help, and they just like, oh, I need somebody to look at my route. I'll just do it. Oh, I need somebody to do it. I'll just do it. And then I get upset when they don't implement the thing, or when they don't do it, when I shouldn't have jumped in and did it for them anyways. I should have pointed them in the right direction, but allowed them to do their own work. Because you can't do the work for other people. It don't matter how many times you lay it out for them. If they don't want to do it, if they don't want to continue it, it's not going to get done. So when you do that, and when you overextend yourself in that way, when you're people pleasing, you know, or you're trying to help to your own fucking detriment, you don't do anything but deplete yourself. What this card is telling you is that you're not here to save them. They are here to save themselves. It's okay to give them the recipe, but they got to cook the fucking dish. You know, so that's what this card is about. All right. So in order for us to step into our path and to step into our purpose in this lifetime, this energy that's coming up is going to be really fucking important. So I just wanted to start with that. Not crazy to me. I see we're in our clearing to receive. Exactly. We are, my love. Okay, y'all. So I'm doing readings today, or just we hanging out, chilling, whatever the case may be. I just wanted to hop on here because I usually go live for Thursday late at night, and I just didn't want to do that today because I got a client at 5 o'clock and all these things. So yeah, I see that VCat. You said you had a question. I wasn't planning on doing questions today, but I can if you want me to. Oh, hey Apple, how are you? Yeah. So my readings, I have a Oversoul Codex, which basically helps you on your journey, right? So right now I'm doing $11 readings. If you want a 1-card pool, it's $11, or a 3-card pool, which is $22. Okay, but with the 3-card pool, I also give you some extra cards from my own personal deck that I don't sell or anything like that. I sell this one, but I don't sell this one. And maybe tell you what your flame lineage is, or what your soul came here to do, some of your soul gifts, stuff like that. So yeah, that's available through Cash App, which is BIGTAJJJ, so 3 J's. And then there's also Zelle. And Zelle is gonna be TAJAMOORE16 @Gmail. I can't put it in the chat because they always take it away because they're assholes. But just so you know, this deck that I have, like, I'll read you one of the cards. One of the cards is the Lyra fragment, because a lot of us are souls that came from Lyra. Lyra was where the first initial fall happened before Atlantis. Atlantis was the result of the Lyra fracture. So people who have this energy, there are a lot of us that are star-seeded beings from Lyra who are here, and we have past life pain and stuff that that's surfacing right now because we're supposed to be alchemizing it. And we have some memories around that. So a lot of us need to release some of those old contracts in order for us to step into our power and purpose in this life. And then we also have like the amethyst flame. Okay. This is like a soul. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Soul, the kid movie. You know how you got to stand in front of the flame before you descend back in here. These are the flame lineages that we hold. So if somebody has an amethyst flame, they are a flame alchemist. They're very intuitive. They are pattern readers, meaning they can pick up on pattern. They have really good pattern recognition. They're transmutation gods as well, meaning that they turn poison into medicine, and they're here kind of help us spiritually reframe as well. But on the shadow side of this energy, they over-identify with their wounds, and sometimes they can get lost in their pain. They can get lost in the trauma of it. not realizing that there's wisdom in all that pain. And in the moment that you alchemize that pain, there's codes underneath there that help you to help other people who get stuck in the process like you do, you know? So yeah, this is a deck that I don't sell, but it just has like flame lineages, soul gifts, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's here as well, and that comes with the $22 reading. But the $11 reading is just a one card pull. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If y'all want to if somebody can put my Cash App in the chat, maybe it'll stay for y'all. But it should be on the description. That's there. Okay, so we have a one card pull for Venetia. So we'll start with her, and then I see the other one that just came through. Thank you, brown skin lady. Thank you. You're welcome, my love. All right. I'm sorry. Did you have a question, VCAT? If you have a question, I can do a question, and I'll just do a one card pull with the question. And so this Oversoul Codex that I use is the path back to remembrance, meaning that when you are on your spiritual journey and you feel lost, this deck is specifically about the things that you could be going through, you know? So how do you find or know where you come from as you spoke with Lyra? It's about oversoul remembrance. It's about sitting in silence and actually getting to know yourself. Like, I come from Lyra. I'm Sarah Flame is the energy that I hold, which is all of the flame lineages. I'm here to help us to like with oversoul embodiment, right? And so we went into individuation because we needed to come down to the lower, we need to descend into lower energy, which is earth, right? Lyra is a higher harmonic society. But the consequences of our actions was going to affect the lower plane. So we needed to individuate or fractalate a little bit so that we can come down to lower dimensions. And so the Sarah flame split into 13 flame lineages. And I was around during Lyra. I have 9 incarnations that I remember. And that comes from me sitting with myself, me doing the work, me getting rid of the trauma, or not getting rid of the trauma, but alchemizing the trauma. Like, it comes from the internal work, my love. But also, I do flame lineage readings. I do past life readings and stuff like that. That's a part of my flame reading tier 3 and tier 2. It's on my website, www.bigtajj.com. So yeah. All right. Should I pursue moving up in this company? Okay, spirit doesn't work like that, my love. I can tell you what is for your highest good. And the first thing that I feel with that is that that you would be settling. I feel like that they have undervalued you a little bit. And I feel like they have underappreciated you a little bit. I don't think you're getting a fair I think they're undervaluing your worth, okay, is what I'm basically saying. I think it's something that you enjoy doing, but I think that it just feels like like there's an appreciation problem. That's the only thing that I can get is there's an appreciation problem. Yeah, and it feels like undervaluing your worth. I think that you've known that you were supposed to leave for a long time, but it's comfortable. And I think there's also like a fear of the unknown. But to be honest, I think that there's better things outside. If you release whatever this is, friend, her question was, should she pursue moving up in the company that she's working for? I feel like there's a little bit of a fear of the unknown. Again, like I said, I feel like you're comfortable where you are. It feels like you like the position as well, but it just feels like you've given a lot and not received a lot back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the reason why some of these things are being offered to you is because you put in the work and you worked 10 times harder than the people around you. And I don't think that they'll ever really see your value until you leave. Because it feels like you've given a lot and you have not received a lot back. Can you give me confirmation on that, my love? That's what I believe is happening. Okay. What about the thing about you giving a lot and not receiving a lot back? Has it been a bit of a dog fight there, or is that no for sure? Okay, gotcha. Because it almost feels like there's a need for you to prove yourself. And you've like because there's that need for you to prove and when I say prove yourself, I don't mean like you're trying to get them to see your value, but at the same time, like I feel like you are somebody who goes in, you do your work, do what you got to do, plus other people's shit, and it's just like you're a team player, but I don't think they're a team player in the same way that you're a team player. I feel like yo 50% or their 100% is probably yo 50%. Like that's what I feel like, and I feel like that they're able to they're using you in a way. And I hate to say it that way, but that's what it feels like. It feels like they're using you and that they don't really appreciate you and they're not giving you a fair evaluation for your worth. So this is my advice to you. Either go in there. This is what I would do because I love playing the corporate game. I fuck the corporate world up every chance that I get, every chance that I got back in the day. What you want to do is start looking at jobs in that other position. And what I will do is I will land a job. I will get the offer letter. I will walk into their office and be like, hey, I'm going to resign. I got this offer. They're paying me more than what you paying me. See what they say. Because I've had people legitimately say, okay, I'm going to call you back. Give me a second. Call the boss. Call me back with a better offer. And I'm like, okay, well, give me a day. Let me talk to this other company real quick. And I give their shit back to them the way that they do to me. Like I deserve to be paid for my work. And I think in order for you to be in alignment with yourself, Venetia, I know I'm saying that wrong. I have a college that's your name in my hometown. Venetia. Is that right? That's pissing me off because I feel like I'm not. Oh, I'm saying it right. Okay. Girl, in my head, it wasn't making sense. And I'm like, I can't move on. I hate getting people's names wrong. Okay. So I feel like you should do something like that if you're going to stay there. But I also feel like you've done too much already. And what I mean by that is like it's going to be hard for them to see your value and pay you your value because they're so used to you doing shit for free. So ultimately, because spirit don't work in yes and no, it only works if what's for your highest good. And I think that if you were to actually step out and leave that job behind and go somewhere else, I honestly think that that would be an act of self-love. You would be telling the universe, I'm not tolerating less anymore. But I think that's going to be scary for you because I think you are kind of the type of energy that likes to be in control a little bit. And it's going to cause you to have to step out into the unknown, my love. But the card that I had got for you was the card that I kept getting on Tuesday, which is the Two of Stone. This is about balance. But again, it's in reverse. And the Two of Stone in reverse is saying that, hold on. Excuse me. Oh, this is my jam. I forgot about this. The Two of Stone in reverse is about honoring yourself. It's about doing too much for other people. Spreading yourself thin is what the Two of Stone in reverse is about. So it's people who have difficulty saying no. Unfortunately, that's what that card is about. People who have difficulty saying no. I have drawn that card for myself. Oh, you got the deck, girl? Period. We love that for you. We love a bad bee with the oversold codex in the form of a tarot deck. But yeah, that's what it is. I think, oh, you do good. How do you like it? I had somebody write me and was like, her daughter was going through something and she pulled out the deck and did a reading for her because again, it talks about shit that you're going through right now. It talks about real life soul shit. And she said she was able to help her daughter navigate. I was excited about that. I said, and period. That was the whole purpose of it. I'm the type of person that when I release something, I don't need 1,000 people to see it. I only need the people who resonate, and to me, that's enough for me. That's exciting. Period, boo. I love it. It's so real. And is. All right. Period. But that's my take on it, my love. I think you deserve better. Okay. Next, I have brown skin lady. Okay, so we're doing a 3-card pull for you, brown skin lady. Hey, Diamond. So I'm doing readings right now, y'all. I'm doing either one question or one card readings for $11, and $22 a 3-card pool. And I also pull soul gifts and soul lineages as well. Okay, so I'm gonna do a 3-card pull for you, brown lady, and then I'm gonna do some soul gifts. Okay, my Cash App is BIGTAJJJ, so 3 J's. My Zelle is TAJAMOORE16 @gmail. Ooh, okay, we got some potential coming out, my girls. Ooh, this is good. This is good, girl. Hold on. You are so very welcome, my love. I'm happy to help. Thank you for always coming through and supporting, my love. All right, girl. I'm excited. Let me pull your soul gifts real quick and then we can jump into it. This is one of the cards that came out for you is one of my favorite cards. It's one of my favorite cards because it's gorgeous. Probably one of the best design cards I have. Well, I got so many, girl. I got so many. I can't even pick. All right. Let me get you some soul gifts too, my love. Hold on one second. Are you still in the chat, brown skin lady? Because I know sometimes when I'm doing a reading for somebody else, people will pop out and pop in. Ooh, you got some of my energy, girl. You still here, brown skin lady? Drop me a comment so I know. Oh, it's buffering? Oh, shit. I haven't done anything yet. I just was making sure you was in the chat. Is it still buffering? Is it buffering for anybody else? Oh, girl, you got some energy on you. Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop right there. Can you hear? Can everybody else hear me in TikTok? The TikTok world? You can hear me? Okay. All right. What about you, brown skin lady? Can you hear me now, or is it still buffering? Because this reading is for you. I want to make sure that you hear it. Yes, I hear you. Not buffering. Okay. Brown skin lady. All right. So the first card that I get for you, my love, is the Sovereign Wound. Okay. The Sovereign Wound. All right. This card is about soul exile. It's about past life betrayal. And there's some past life energy that's actually coming up for you, brown skin lady. So we're going to tap into that a little bit, because I also get the Lyra Elf Vault, which holds all of our soul blueprints. It was cracked in the fall of Atlantis. And I actually can tap into that vault. And so there's something that's coming up for past life for you, brown skin lady. Also, it's about over independence as well. You know, people who feel like they got to do everything by themselves, feeling alone in your mission, like nobody understands you. It's about solitude. It's about self-betrayal, abandonment wounds. It's about energetic fragmentation as well, meaning like feeling like you need to be smaller or less around people, and spiritual disempowerment. Okay, so the Sovereign Wound card arises when the soul remembers lifetimes of standing alone in the fire. It is the wound of those who have carried truth in dark ages, who have burned, fled, or collapsed because of the light that they bore, the energy that you carry. You know, so this card is not about like egoic loneliness, meaning like it's not happening from a place of ego, but it's about ancestral soul exile. You know, you were probably punished for your gifts in previous lifetimes. The Sovereign Wound represents the fracture that occurs when you give your power away in exchange for belonging, meaning you want to belong, you want approval, you want to survive, right? Thank you, Crystal. I created this. This is the Oversoul Codex in the form of a tarot. It's supposed to help you on your path to remembering yourself. Okay. But this is when you have given your power away because you wanted to belong, or you wanted to prove, or you wanted to survive. It is a subtle ache of having once known your divinity, but then forgetting it. Meaning, like, you can't be yourself around. You feel like you cannot be yourself around other people, right? So in this life, it may show up as an inability to ask for help, a belief that no one can truly walk with you, or a deep fatigue masked as self-reliance. You may have surrounded yourself with others and still felt unseen. You may have grown used to carrying everything yourself, convinced that to be sovereign is to be solitary. But true sovereignty is interdependence, not isolation. The appearance of this card is a balm from your oversoul, reminding you you are not alone. You never were. You're being invited to soften, not to collapse, meaning like it's okay to let people in. It's okay to soften your heart, you know? Um, but to remember that even sovereignty longs to be witnessed. Okay. This card appears when your oversoul is calling you to re-embody your sovereignty, not through resistance or rebellion, but through sacred remembrance, meaning remember who you are. Remember who you are before the world got a hold of you, before people started projecting their shit onto you, before people start telling you that you were too much or not enough, right? Remember who you are. You are being shown where your energetic boundaries were breached, where your light was distorted, and your flame negotiated for safety, meaning that you probably had to be less of yourself because you're trying to survive in specific environments. But the question in this card is, has your circumstances changed? Because if your circumstances have changed, then you don't have to have the same reaction that you've been having out of protection for yourself, right? It's telling you it's okay for you to show yourself now. It's okay for you to reveal yourself now. You're no longer required to play small for love, or be silent just because you want peace. Okay. So to walk with this card is to walk the path of radical recentering. It's about sovereignty not being selfishness. It's a sacred self-honoring. So the lesson of this card is that sovereignty does not mean that you walk alone. It means you're choosing who walks beside you in truth, meaning that you have more control than you think you do. If people are not able to receive you or meet you where you are, go get somebody else. You know, change the people, don't change yourself, is what this card is really saying, because your individuality is very much so needed. If they don't have the capacity to hold you, go find somebody with bigger motherfucking hands, right? This is about true sovereignty coming through embracing your tender core, like allowing yourself to be as you are. And if they don't fuck with it, then they got to go. All right. The next card that I get for you is the Ace of Fire, which means that there's a new spark that has just emerged. Um, are you still with me, brown skin lady? Because as I'm talking, I'm just getting so nervous that you're not even hearing. You're not here, because the last thing you said was that it was choppy and you couldn't see it. And you paid for this reading, so I want to make sure it lands for you. This is about the ignition of your soul purpose. It's about divine inspiration, new beginnings, creative fire. So something ancient and luminous is stirring. An undeniable pulse of purpose, meaning that, again, there's some ancient ties. And if you own here, I would love for you to come up, because I want to see if I can tap into whatever this past life thing is that's coming up, because I got 3 cards that's saying that there's a past life something coming up. And this is for brown skin lady. Where you at, girl? So this card is the spark that arrives as the first flickering of your true flame, a whisper from the oversoul calling you to create, awaken, and remember. This card signals the beginning of a soul-aligned path, an idea, a vision, or knowing that seeks to ignite your reality. You may not yet know where this flame will lead, but its presence confirmed that the field has shifted. A threshold is opening. You're being invited to tend the ember gently, to trust what is emerging, even if it feels unfamiliar. The spark is a gift, not a demand. Let it guide you into alignment, not urgency. So the lesson here is a single spark is sacred. It contains the memory of your becoming. Okay, so that means your soul is starting to stir right now. Okay, and then we get the 8 of stone. And the 8 of stone, following that up, tells me that you're creating something, you're building something, even if it's energetic, even if you don't know what it is that you're building. This is about sacred work. It's about mastery. It's about practice. It's about embodiment. This is about skill refinement, right? This is about devotion. Okay. Process over perfection, right? and discipline alignment. So the Eight of Stone honors the path of embodied mastery. Here the flame settles into the hands. You are no longer simply dreaming, you are doing. Through consistent presence, your sacred craft begins to reveal itself. It is not about perfection, it is about devotion. This card marks a time of focused creation where practice becomes prayer and repetition becomes revelation. Whether you're building something physical, you're nurturing a service, or you're deepening your spiritual walk, this invitation is showing up with integrity and rhythm. You are learning how to anchor your flame into earth by committing to what is yours to create. The devotion craft is not glamorous, meaning it could look a little different than what you want it to look like. It may be solitary, but it is holy. This is where your legacy begins, not in the finished result, but in the way your love is becoming. This card is telling you that mastery is not what you achieve, it's how you return to yourself, okay? How you remember yourself. Okay, so those are the 3 cards. And then I get 4 cards from the deck that I don't, it's not for purchase. So the first one is the silver blue flame, which is one of my main flames. It's about stillness. It's about neutrality. So you have to return to stillness, my love. People who have the silver blue flame are tone healers and they're grief alchemists, meaning you probably dealt with a lot of grief throughout your life because you were meant to alchemize it. You were meant to transmute it. These are sound anchors, and they're here to transmute loss into clarity through vibration. Okay. But the shadow side of this energy is that they tend to suppress their own emotions and they tend to suffer in silence. So what the sovereign wound is telling you, you don't have to do that anymore. Okay. I also get the flame of boundaries, which means that energetic sovereignty, there's a call for you to disentangle from other people. Okay. So you're not available to distortion. You need to fully disengage with the things that are not truly aligned with you, the things that don't make you feel good, the things that don't make you feel seen. The next thing I get is deep indigo flame, which could be a secondary lineage. And the people who have the deep indigo flame or have overlays of this energy have hidden wisdom and flame discernment. Okay. Discernment is a gift. It's a soul gift. They are shadow seers and soul surgeons, which means that a lot of times they live a very traumatic experience because they are meant to teach us how to handle the shadows. Okay. This energy is here to cut through distortion and to be an authority of truth. But the shadow side is that they tend to isolate and they tend to be mistrusting of other people. And sometimes they can be overly sharp with their boundaries, meaning that they just cut people off. There's no conversation. There is no communication. It's just like they will kind of spiritually bypass by not dealing with conflict head on. Instead, they just get rid of people, you know, even in all situations when it might not be necessary for every single person. Okay. And then the last one thing that I get is the Lyra Elf Vault, which it holds our sacred contracts. Okay. This is a vault that was actually broken in the fall of Atlantis. This is what actually disconnected us from source. When we came here, we didn't agree to distortion. We agreed to come here, but we were supposed to remember ourselves. We were supposed to remember our soul mission. We were supposed to remember our blueprint. But because this vault was cracked, it disconnected us from source and they could tell us the story that they wanted to tell us. Okay. So this card is about sacred curiosity, and people, the shadow side of this energy is a fear of access to truth, meaning like you could be somebody who shies away from truth a little bit, a belief that what you've lost forever. And then the activation message is you do not need to search for it. You are the key, meaning you need to go inside. All of the answers that you look for come from the inside. Okay. That was for brown skin lady. And again, this is gonna be on YouTube. So if you didn't hear it, brown skin lady, it'll be on YouTube. Okay. I'm doing readings right now from my Oversoul Codex, which is supposed to help you on your path back to remembrance. It's different than regular tarot. It's about your soul and getting your soul back, getting back in alignment with your soul, remembering yourself. Okay. It follows traditional tarot, meaning like it kind of looks like traditional tarot, but it's a completely different system. It's soul encoded technology in modern form. And then I also have a deck. Yeah, yes, babe. You can. I also have a deck that I don't sell, but it talks about soul gifts. It talks about the energy that you're in right now. It talks about star systems that you might have been a part of, like Lyra or Atlantis, and even maybe had an Anunnaki contract, which was about you fell into distortion and you're here to kind of redo it. Okay. So If you want a one card pool, it's $11. Or you can use that same $11 for one question if you just have a question about life. And then if you want a 3 card pool with another card pool from this deck, it's $22. Lisa put my information in the chat. My Cash App is BIGTAJJJ, and my email for Zelle is TAJAMOORE16@gmail. But yeah, so I actually am excited because I have a flame lineage reading, like a 3-part session coming up for somebody who purchased the tier 3 package. And in that, we talk about like soul vows, and we talk about past lives and stuff like that, which is really interesting because I've done a couple past life readings for people, and some traumatic things have happened to them. So I have that one person that I did a past life for, and she didn't want to have kids in this life. And she asked me like, why was that? And it was because her kid was mauled by a bear in front of her in a past lifetime. And she's always had a fear of bears. And she even had a dream about this. So after we had the conversation, she remembered the whole thing. And then I have another mentee who does a lot of self-blame and feels like she got to earn her keep, that type of thing. And I looked into her past life probably like 2 weeks ago. And when she was a teenager, she had a little brother who she was supposed to be watching after, and he fell off the top of a building and he died. And so she was still a teenager. Her parents still had to take care of her. So she was trying to earn her keep around the house. She felt like she was to blame for everything. She felt like she had to be perfect. She couldn't make no mistakes. And she carried all of that shit into this lifetime. So what she feels about her family and what she feels, and in this lifetime, she gets abused in a way, meaning like she everything to everybody, but nobody's nothing to her. And it's just because in a previous lifetime, she vowed to always show up for the people who show up for her. And now she's in this place where the people who she feels indebted to are people who don't treat her well. But she feels like she has to show up for them. And because if she don't, then bad things are going to happen. And she feels like she always has to be perfect, things like that. So sometimes what you're dealing with, it belongs to a past life. It don't even belong to this version of you. And that's why, again, the Lion's Gate that's coming up tomorrow is a great place because you can release some of those contracts that you have vowed to keep that are keeping you stuck in this lifetime when they don't even belong to this version of you. And for me, like I said, I have 9 previous incarnations. In one of those incarnations, I don't even have a name because I was called the hidden one, which is kind of weird. Because what does that even mean? But yeah, you got to know what happened in past lives because it helps you to navigate this experience. Because again, you're just repeating. You repeat things until you learn your lesson. Just how in this lifetime you repeat things until you learn your lesson. Yeah, that happens for past lives as well. It just carries over because a lot of us are stuck in karmic loops that we don't understand that we stuck in karmic loops. Because karma doesn't exist except for in this reality because we are creators in this reality, really. Who was that? Lovely Aries. Yeah, so my Cash App is BIGTAJJJ, and then my Zelle is Taja Moore 16 at Gmail. So that's TAJAMOORE16. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. I wonder if this dude has any new music. His name is Nobody. He was that guy back in the day. And I'll wait. I'm waiting for you. But yeah, the cards that I'm pulling from is my Oversoul Codex, y'all. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I created this to help us soul encoded beings because a lot of the technology that we have today, like astrology, human design, stuff like that, is mental focused because it was created by beings who are mentally focused. So I'm redoing those systems right now, like redoing tarot, this is the Oversoul Codex. I redid human design as well. So it's soul encoded, and I can tell you what flame lineages you have to navigate in what areas of your life, but also tell you how to get yourself into energetic alignment. And then I'm also doing astrology because astrology is the map to your oversoul embodiment. It tells you when everything is going to happen. But most people don't understand it that way. They think it's just, oh, this is the energy we in right now. It's different for every person. And that's why it's based off of your date of birth. Each planet activates at different times in your life, which people don't know that because we have not been taught it that way. We've only been taught it as like a blanket, vague, this is what it is for everybody. And that's just not true. And so I'm working on redoing all of those for us. Look at this. This is one of my favorite cards. This is when you feel like a part of you is missing. The soul fragment. I'm sorry, YouTube. But yeah. And so I'm in the process of redoing some of the old technology, how it's supposed to be done according to the soul, And so this deck is available on my website. Gorgeous card. It's about devotion. But I'm in the process of redoing everything because what's for them is not for us. What's for them is not for us. And everything in society is based off of them. Like even when it comes to BMI, right? Your body mass index is based off a white European male. So pretty much all thicker Black women are considered obese, and thicker could be a size 12 and it's considered obese because it's based off of a white male. So everything in society is based off of them. So I'm redoing our technology so that we have a place to go, and this deck is supposed to be so you don't have to keep going to psychics outside of yourself or people outside of yourself. This is going to tell you exactly what's going on. It has an upright side, it has a shadow side, and on my website I provide rituals and I provide lessons. And when I say rituals, it's just work that you could do. We used to be ritualistic people when we lived in Atlantis, meaning that our whole life was a ritual. It was about we practice spirituality as a thing. And the reason why the grids and stuff is coming back online right now is because we're starting to practice spirituality again. So it's really just shadow work. It does not come with an information sheet. If you go to my website, www.bigtajj.com, scroll to the bottom on that first page where it says tarot descriptions, click that, and then every single card is there. You just got to click on whatever card you pull. So no, it's not an information sheet or anything like that. You could literally, if you don't have the deck, you can go on my website every single day and whatever card is calling your name, click on it, and the information is right there for you. I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. But if somebody just gets the deck, because you can get the deck in the marketplace of where I got the cards made. But if somebody just gets the deck and they not gang, they don't know how to even use this. And I'm not gatekeeping or I'm not trying to gatekeep, but this is for my people, And so this deck is available. I have it for pre-order, $33 on my website. And, but you have to be willing to wait. I think I need 30 more people in order to get those pre-orders out so that I can order them in bulk. And then if you want to buy it right now, which a lot of people have just gone ahead and bought it, it comes from the manufacturer. It is $34, but they charge you $16.99 in shipping. So it's almost $58, $60. I think that's astronomical. That's why I'm trying to get an order in bulk. But yeah, it's all there. And all the cards look like you. They don't look like nobody else but you. Hold on. Because I feel like there's a disconnection with a lot of us too, because even just with the cards that we get in tarot, we rarely have cards that look like us. And I don't understand that. And so I wanted this to look like us, Some of these cards look like your auntie. Some of them look like your granddaddy. Some of them look like your cousin. Some of them look like you. This is the distorted figure. This is when you got all those voices, those attachments, or those things that are attached to your field and they put projecting thoughts into your head. That's a real thing, And so it's very aligned with what's going on, the spiritual war that is going on. This is how you remember yourself in the midst of all of that shit is this. This ain't just about, because the stones are similar to earth, right? And so when you pull a 5 of stone in a regular tarot deck, it tells you, oh, you're having financial problems. This is about spiritual lack. Money is not like money is an outcome. Money isn't the actual thing. When you ask for money, you're asking for alignment. You're asking for energy exchange. And money is just the physical manifestation of that. But if you think of it only through the lens of it being, oh, you're lacking money, instead of it being spiritual lack, you're missing a whole 90% of what it actually is. Because money can come to you while you're in a state of lack, but you're not going to hold on to it. Why? Because you're still in spiritual lack. You're still in spiritual scarcity. So the card, this is talking about how do you fix the actual fucking problem so that you're not spinning your fucking wheels and chasing after a goddamn ghost, you know? So I poured my heart and soul into this oversoul deck because I didn't have any elders. I didn't have nobody to go to. I didn't have nobody to talk to about this shit. I've been astral projecting since I was a kid. I've been having prophetic dreams since the earliest one I can remember, I was 4. The earliest memory I have, I was only like 3 weeks. You know, like I go to different realms and there are beings that I don't know how to put in physical words to explain that shit to you. But they say that's just a coincidence. That's a phenomenon. Well, then why is it happening to so many of us? You know, like I feel like that is what sparked my journey. That's what made me want to be like, no, I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna have to figure it out, right? And as somebody who's remembered, it's going to take us bringing our own soul technology back. We need to bring our own shit back. So if you're a person out there who remembers, bring our shit back. I can only do as much as I can do, meaning like what's aligned with my soul mission. But you got to do what's in line with your soul mission so that we could have it all, you know? And we are unfortunately at a place where our elders are us. I'm only 33 years old, you know, but I've redone all of human design to where it's not mental focused. And it's not about this society. It's about how to fix yourself on a soul level, how to get into oversoul embodiment. Right? I'm redoing astrology right now. Right now, I've only made it through the planets and the celestial bodies because human design took me fucking forever to redo. But I thought getting an energetic alignment is more important than figuring out the calendar of that alignment. So I'm working on that right now, but I'm just trying to redo it. And every service that I offer is about the soul, and it's about helping people remember who they are. Because I don't need you to be me, I need you to be you. And vice versa, you know? And so like all of my services are about that. So yeah. So yeah, I'll probably be on here for another hour just hanging out. If anybody wants to read and let me know. If not, I'll just be chitter chatting because I love to yap. Anyways, but yeah, I'm really proud. Like what I've been realizing in these last couple of days of like having this old stuff come up from like when I was a kid and I like internalized something somebody said to me. It made me realize that when you don't know yourself, you become susceptible to other people's projections and other people's fears and other people's desires. And it just makes me realize how happy I am that I finally do know who I am. Because when somebody says something about me, I don't have to take what they say about me or what they think of me as my truth. Because now that I understand energy, I understand that opinions are just hypotheses. They're not rooted in any type of fact. It's just what somebody hypothesizes about you based on the evidence that they've seen, but they don't spend 24 hours a day with you. You spend 24 hours a day with you. So that will make you the expert on you. So nobody should be able to come in and try to tell you who you are. You know, and I think about the great philosopher, what the fuck was his name? What he said was know thyself. They ended up killing him for his belief systems. And then Socrates, they ended up killing Socrates, y'all, who was a philosopher back in the day. And he told people they need to know themselves. He did a lot of work around morals, like morality, right? He did a lot of morality work. Well, because the people started going in a different direction and he wouldn't comply with them, they ended up killing him. And now we think he's one of the greatest philosophers of all time. And that's just a testament to they're going to call you fucking crazy before they call you a genius because they killed him. You know, it was another guy. I forgot what his fucking name was. But the Roman church put him on house arrest for 9 years. And now, again, one of the greatest philosophers that we have. Another person, they stuck a stake through his head, down through his tongue, because they wanted to stop him from talking in front of the whole entire town. He dies, of course. Another one of the great philosophers of this time. It's fucking diabolical and barbaric, you know, and it just speaks to One thing that I will say about all of them, though, is that they all maintain their integrity, meaning that they did not come up off of their truth just because people did not agree with them. And that's something Spirit was actually talking to me about yesterday, is that you don't need people to agree with you. It's okay for you to have a different perspective than other people. And I think because we live in this society that is really based around trends and shit like that, we feel like if people don't agree with us, then what we're saying is wrong. But it doesn't work like that. Like, that's the lowest state of consciousness you can be operating out of, is right and wrong, black and white. When things are a lot more nuanced than like, there's some truth in what they say, but it's also some truth in what you say. So many of us it should be easier for us to stand our ground, and a lot of us don't, because we are so afraid of being misunderstood, or we're afraid that people are not going to agree with us and then we're going to be rejected. And it's just, be rejected, be rejected, be called crazy. Spirit was telling me yesterday, be messy, be a mess. Like, why do you need so much structure? You don't need that structure. You're just clinging to something that no longer belongs anymore. You don't have to have everything figured out before you take the step. Just take the fucking step and figure it out as you go. So I've been trying to live by that recently, which I feel like is hard, because I am very much so an organized person, a very, very much so a disciplined person, because I went through trauma when I was younger and was living in poverty and stuff like that. And I feel like for people who have grew up with nothing, we become the people in society who are trying to prove ourselves, who climb the hierarchical ladder, who, are determined to become rich. Like, we are determined. I've had 1,000 different lives. People tell me that all the time. Tati, you've literally lived 1,000 different lives. And I'm like, and have, because I'm not going to stop trying. I'm never going to stop trying. I'm just going to keep pivoting. If this don't work, then I need to try this one. If that one don't work, then I'm going to try that one. If that one don't work, then I'm going to try this one. So being in a place now where I've embodied my oversoul, and where I know what my purpose is, when I know what I'm here to do, and I've aligned everything that I do with that, it's hard to just sit and tend to the seeds that you've planted. It's hard. It's so hard to just sit and tend to those fucking seeds after I've been on go, 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 go. But my nervous system needs a break. My nervous system deserves to have a break. I felt like I had to do everything fast, because that's what society tells us. It pushes us towards performance. It pushes us towards production, but it doesn't push us towards authenticity, and it doesn't push us towards resonance. And until you meet the resonance of something, you're not going to be able to bring it into this physical reality in a sustainable way. I was sitting on my porch the other day talking to Spirit about wealth, and there is a wealth grid, y'all. Like, there is a wealth grid that is not the same grid as the money spell grid. There's a money spell grid, which is built on scarcity and fear, but there is a wealth grid, which is the actual grid of wealth, right? So you have to reach a specific resonance, and you have to have humility, and that grid is about ego, right? It's a bunch of ego energy. No, you have to drop into your heart, and you have to know that the universe is going to provide for you, because you're living in alignment with who you are. And then you tap into the wealth grid. And it's not just about tangible wealth. It's not just about tangible wealth. And so I was learning about that the other day, and I was just like, wow, that's just fucking crazy how everything we think we know, we fucking don't. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's kind of crazy. And another thing that I was talking to Spirit about today was, so sometimes when I see people in spirit, and people who have done the work, people who are seers and stuff like that, they'll have a dragon coming out of their back. I don't listen. This is going to get a little woo-woo. So if you're not with the woo-woo shit, just exit stage left. But they will have a dragon coming out of their back, right? Now, had I not went through this stage in my journey where I was reading every book I could get my motherfucking hands on, this would have startled me. But I read this book called Waking Up in 5D. It's by Maureen St. Germain. You can get this on audiobook. You can get this on Amazon, but it's called Waking Up in 5D. And she talks a lot about spiritual concepts. She talks a lot about the elementals. She talks about like stuff that we don't talk about. Like, I'm talking about woo-woo shit. She even tells you like what, depending on what star system you're from, where you're going to read from in your body, but also like what you experience. Like, people from Andromeda are usually gut-based people. So they don't see in their head. They just have gut feelings. You know what I'm saying? So she talks about shit like that, right? In this book, she said everybody has 3 dragons. And I'm like, dragons, bitch? What are you talking about? And so she was like, everybody comes with elite, like 2 to 3 dragons, right? And she starts explaining what her dragons are like and people's experiences that she's gotten through her clients, because I think what she actually does is like mediumship or something like that. And so she meets with clients and, you know, things like that. So when I meet people who are like seers and I look at them in the liminal space, which is the in between, some of them have a dragon coming out of their spine, which is meant to protect their divine will and help them with gift activation. Okay, it's called the oversoul dragon, but there's also one that will protect your womb. And there's also one, like sometimes it'll wrap around your sacral, okay, to protect your womb, because you got to understand your womb has its own consciousness and it's magnetic, okay? And so it's a memory vault, though. It holds your ancestral memory, whereas your heart holds your star memory, right? Your heart holds your star memory. It's a memory vault, but your womb holds ancestral memory, okay? Your heart is also magnetic, okay? Your womb, magnetic, they have their own separate set of consciousness, okay? So you have this dragon that will wrap around your womb, and then there's another one called the initiation dragon, and it kind of pops in and out, meaning like it's not always there. And not all dragons have wings, which is a thing. And some of them live in your DNA. They live in your light codes, and they're supposed to help you with light code activation. Meaning, like, you know how, like, have you ever seen like spiritual shows like Avatar or whatever, and they go to like where they walking up them steps and it's those 2 dragons and he's talking to them for guidance, because dragons are guardians, right? And so he's talking to them for guidance or whatever. And you know how they say everything is inside of y'all, inside of you. You have, some of y'all have dragons that live inside of you, and they can even help you with small shit like clearing traffic. Doesn't matter the color. No, it doesn't. But some of us who, like for me, I'm the Sarah flame, which means I hold all 13 of the lineages. Okay. I'm the most embodied version right now of this flame, but I hold all 13 of the lineages. So one of my dragons is iridescent, meaning that it's like all the color, it's like iridescent, like this is iridescent, you know? Well, in a way, in a sort of kind of way. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But so the reason why this came up, though, the reason why, thank you, girl, because I was looking for I got an iridescent coffee cup, but it's not up here. But the other one is pink, though. So it's like a light pink color, but I have a lot of Venus ties. So to me, that makes sense. But no, people in this book, somebody had like a white dragon with blue eyes. And you know what it made me think about? Have y'all ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh? The blue-eyed dragon? It's anime. Listen, I might be going too off the deep end. But what brought this up for me, though, is because I've seen the dragons at people's backs, right? Some people have tails too in spirit, which is crazy. But I've seen them, and I've just not paid it. Like, it's not a big deal to me, because again, I read in a spiritual book about the dragons, and so to me, it was just like it just is what it is. You know, like obviously there's some truth to this, but other people are gonna think I'm crazy. Fine, let them think I'm crazy, right? But the reason why this is coming back up right now is because I have been trying to get back into my book bag, meaning like I am trying to read books again, because I used to love books, but it was like fucking coldest winter ever, like Candy Liquor, like Every Thug Needs a Lady. Don't judge me, but it was shit I ain't had no business fucking reading. And so I was like, you know what, I would love to read like some books in my adult life that are fiction, instead of it just always being consciousness or spirituality. Even though I really fucking love those concepts, I just was trying to get my whistle wet. And so I started reading this book that this girl, Ashley, I went to college with, recommended, called The Fourth Wing. And in this book, they're like dragon riders. And so like a dragon picks you based off of your energy, and they basically fight to death, whatever the fuck. I don't know, because I'm only on chapter like 3. But they was talking about this one guy who is like supposed to be the villain, but he's super fucking hot, but he's trying to kill the main girl because her family killed his dad. But her family feels justified in killing his dad because they killed her brother, who was the prodigal son. Shit like that, right? he gets the most vicious dragon, and this dragon is a blue dragon, but it has like a spiked tail or something. And so like I'm listening to this on audiobook, but I have my eyes closed and I can see like this whole thing unfolding. And so when this was happening, I was like, oh, like this is like, yeah, whoever wrote this book probably wrote this in the lens of, this just being a book about dragon riders, how to train a dragon, but like make it hot and spicy and, sexy or whatever. But this has to be a deep soul memory. Like this has to be a deep soul memory, because in a way, the way that she's telling the story and the way that she's even like aligning the people with the dragon choosing the people, I'm like, this has to be a deep soul memory. And, we're not really rediscovering we're not really creating anything. We're just rediscovering. We're just remembering things, And so I was talking to Spirit about the dragons before I hopped on here, because I was just like, these two things have to be connected. And I don't think I've ever told y'all that sometimes I tap into people's energy and I'll see them in the liminal space and they'll have a fucking dragon. Like my old teacher had a white dragon, and it was kind of translucent, but it was like white and blue. Really, I would kind of say like more like silver and blue. Which was kind of weird, but she's not the only person I've seen with that. I've seen somebody else who is like a seer, like who does mediumship and stuff like that for work, And so what the dragon that I see is in a spine. So it's the oversoul embodied dragon. And so they probably don't even know that. I mean, they know because they can see what I can see in the liminal space. But that's just fucking interesting. Like, am I talking crazy, or has anybody ever experienced this? Like, learned that we basically have 3 dragons and some of them are in our body? Mine is gold, seated in my first meditation ever. See, I'm not a psycho. So you probably have gold flame energy, my love, which is the solar flame. It's masculine energy, but it is here to re-establish truth. It is here to re-establish authority, where we don't dominate, but we protect. I haven't, but sounds great. Yeah, but I think that's an interesting thing, because some of the things in this book, when I read this book, it was like so early in my journey that it was just like, okay, I'm the type of person too, when it comes to knowledge, I'm open to whatever it is that I hear. I feel like we don't know anything. So I'm not going to discount anything. I just kind of put shit in my back pocket. It's just like, I don't know how much I believe this, but I'm just going to tuck this away real quick. It's like that for me. And so this is something I tucked away. And it just came back up when I started actually doing mediumship. And I was just like, what the fuck? I didn't think this was going to be true. And even vampires. There are energetic vampires. There are energetic vampires. It's fucking insane. But yeah, and she also told me about these other things, and I forgot what they was called, but they help you when it comes to when you lose stuff. No, I'm sorry. That's not what they help you with. They help you when it comes to, like those things happen surprisingly. Like you get those little, like you find $5 on the ground, or maybe you walk into a parking lot and you find like a diamond bracelet or something like that. Like, like those little things. It's like, okay, like period. Like I lucked up. Like they deal with like luck and coincidences and stuff like that. And if you thank them every time that something like that happens, they start making more of those things happen in your life. It's a name for them, but I can't remember what the fucking name is. That's another thing that's stuck in my head from that book. And the book is called Waking Up 5D by Maureen St. Germain. Yes. Okay. Okay. So you resonate with the gold flame energy. Yeah, that would make sense, my love. I can tell you, hold on, let me give you more information on the gold flame. While we're here, because y'all know I do flame lineage readings. So the gold flame is actually one of the primary 13 flames. So it's probably one of your main flames. Well, let me ask you this. Was it gold or was it white gold? All gold or white gold? Because there is a difference. Or it could be rose gold. But usually when people say gold, like, is it white gold or is it just all gold? All gold. Okay. Yeah. So then that's the gold flame. Which is divine solar integrity. what happens with y'all energy when y'all like looping? Y'all usually looping, or like, like patterns that keep appearing in y'all life. It's usually shame or false guilt, meaning like you blame yourself for stuff that really ain't your fault. Like that tends to be, or also having identity wounds or feeling the pressure to perform. Okay, that's usually the looping stories that y'all have, meaning like when y'all stuck in a pattern, it's usually one of those patterns. The story that y'all tell yourself is that you must be perfect to be chosen. And so a lot of times y'all feel like y'all need to do more. Okay. The way that you heal this energy is restoring your innocence, starting having fun again, getting into your inner child, like stuff like that. Hold on, let me I can do some more. That's archetype frequency based. Feel that. Um Hold on, I'm trying to okay, hold on. I'll be getting mixed signals. Sorry, I need to just find it real quick. No, I can't have you. I'll give you some more energy since you're here. We're all working on that right now. Okay, period. That resonates. Let me give you more information though, love. Just since you entertain my dragon bullshit. I love that for us. Because I be wanting to talk to people about stuff like this, but it sounds fucking insane. It sounds fucking insane. So I know that I can't fully explain or explore the way that I be wanting to explore. So when I find my people, I got to pour back into my people. Okay. So the gold flame lineages, their primary frequency is divine radiance, integrity, and sacred leadership, meaning you came here to lead. The core essence is solar sovereignty and divine will expressed through embodied presence. And the tone that you carry is the luminary steward. Okay. Meaning that you're supposed to be the example that people see. You teach people how to take care of themselves through what you embody, right? So when your energy is in alignment, you are a radiant anchor of embodied divine will, not a ruler, but a reflector of higher order. Okay. Meaning that be the change that you want to see in other people. Hold that shit, even if nobody gets it. If everybody rejects you, it doesn't matter what it is. Hold that shit steady, and the people who are meant to see will see and feel inspired. Okay, when you're aligned, you act as a pillar of truth, leading through service, presence, and soul alignment action rather than hierarchy. You inspire others to rise into their own power by walking in luminous self-respect. Okay. When you're in alignment, you lead without domination, which means you illuminate, you don't impose, meaning you don't need to convince them. You don't need to prove it to them. You embody it, and those who feel it gonna feel it. Okay. Embody inner authority and divine confidence, inspire trust, vision, and integrity in communities. You anchor golden timelines through value-based leadership, which we need those timelines back. Okay. You hold the tone of sacred command, activating truth in others, meaning you got to speak your truth. Okay. Command your space, that type of thing. The soul gifts that you have is sacred leadership, which means you lead by example, not by force. You have light anchoring. So you stabilize group energy fields, okay, by standing in your truth. Timeline holding, you reorganize and align collective timelines when you do that, because this is actually a golden society. Atlantis was the grids that we hold, or the main grids that we have are the grids from Atlantis. Atlantis was a golden solar society. It's called the golden age because of Atlantis, because it was a golden society. So you probably have ties to Atlantis as well. The voice of command, your words carry impact and transmission, meaning you cause transformation when you speak your truth, when you speak your perspective. And abundance recalibration, you shift scarcity grids through presence. And we need you, girl, because the wealth grid is what we need to be tapped into, not no motherfucking scarcity grid, right? What you activate in other people is courage to stand in their own truth, trust in divine order and timing, liberation from servitude or false authority. Meaning you teach people like you're your own authority in your life. You don't got to follow what everybody else fucking do. You don't have to, obey. Like that's really what this energy is like. You don't got to fucking obey them. Clarifying other people's soul purpose, activation of the solar plexus and solar will, meaning like making decisions that are aligned with who you actually are. Common phrases that you say when you're in alignment are going to be like, I hold the line. There's a higher way to do things. Yes, it's like, yeah, we need that bad. The shadow side though is sometimes you can become controlling, or you'll have, or hierarchical, meaning like sometimes the ego can get in the way a little bit, because we are talking about solar energy, which is solar plexus, which is wheel, which is the house of the ego. It's the house of the mind. Okay. So when you're afraid, sometimes you can become controlling, like try to control everything. My way or the highway type of shit. You can become attached to an image or external power symbols, meaning like money is a symbol of power, because people who have power have money, you know. You might fear vulnerability. Oh, your son is in Aquarius. Okay. Fear vulner. Oh, you're saying Carnesia, your son is in Aquarius. Okay. Fear vulnerability or overcompensate with ego. Be seen as arrogant or unreachable, meaning like sometimes it can be really hard to change your mind once you've already made your mind. You can be a little bit stubborn. And you might overextend yourself trying to save or to hold too much. The way that you heal your energy though, friend, is you need to return to presence. When you're feeling pressured, you need to sit with yourself. You need to anchor yourself. No, make no quick decisions. Like literally anchor into your truth and figure out what's your voice and what's all these other voices going on inside of your head. You got to release the savior complex. You are not going to be able to save everybody. It's not your job to fix, to heal, to save. It's only your job to embody who you were supposed to be and hold the line. Okay. You also need to ground. You need to let others lead. So sacred stewardship is shared, meaning like don't feel like it has to only be you type thing. And then reconnect to why you feel like it has to be you in these leadership positions and stuff like that. So period. So that's probably what because a golden dragon would absolutely be a dragon that's helping you with divine will. Okay, because we all have free will, but like I said, dragons are guardians, and so sometimes they are helping us on our journey and helping us to anchor in frequencies that we're meant to anchor in. And your energy would be best with like a rose gold energy or a crystalline energy as well, which crystalline energies are rare, but rose gold energies are not rare, because a lot of us have Venetian energy, because we're meant to reinstate the rose grid, which brings back compassion and forgiveness, and it brings back the divine feminine, you know. And so you get along with those energies because they kind of balance you out, being that you have this solar energy. That rose gold energy is divine feminine energy, but it has both sides. It has the rose, which is compassion and love, and it's Venus energy, but it also has gold. I'm not reading the book, my love. These are my notes from the services that I provide. So yeah. So yeah, that's you, girl. Period. I love that for you. Um, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I just changed all of my services around to match my oversoul, what my oversoul came here to do, which is to help us with embodiment. If y'all are new here, when I started this journey, or when I started to embody my oversoul these last 3 years, I've been having visions about Atlantis, and I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. Like, I knew in my head what it was, but at the same time I was doubting myself, because I was just like, what? I thought this was a myth, like, you know, whatever. And I'm seeing it, and I have memories from there. The memories that I hold are from Amara, and she was the high priestess of Atlantis. And so when we went through the fall, she stayed as long as she could, but she breathed me back into existence. I breathed her into existence in Lyra. Okay. When Lyra started to fall, I had like this 3 ring, which Amara has 3 rings around her, 1 in her back and then 2 by her feet. But in Lyra, when Lyra started to fall, we knew that the effects were going to trickle down to the lower dimensions. And so Amara was created to help with Atlantis. She was a high frequency being who went to hold the frequency in Atlantis. So she was created for this. So I breathed her into existence. And when the agreement was that if they started to forget, breathe me back into existence. And so she did. And I've lived 9 lives since then. This is the life where I was supposed to wake up. So yeah, How can I get you to become my spiritual mentor? Is it on your link tree? So I'm not taking any mentorship clients right now, but I have tier 3 of my flame lineage readings. You do get a month access to me. And it's, if you do tier 3 of that reading, we'll go through what your flame lineages are, because you can have up to 3 primary lineages, because a lot of us are hybrids. So you can have up to 3 primary lineages. Some people have up to 5, but that's very rare. And then you can have 3 to 12 plus secondary lineages, and those are basically like, depending on the people you come in contact with, people bring specific energies out of you that are meant to be transmuted, and so like people really are mirrors to you. And that's why sometimes you get in relationships and you'll see that person move on with somebody else and they're a completely different person. You just like, well, why the fuck I didn't get that? And it's because there's an imprint on your field that needed to be healed, and it was, or alchemized through this person. So that's usually that 3 to 12 plus secondary lineages. And then you also have grid overlays, which sometimes can be like ancestral wounds, generational curses, like things like that come from like your bloodline. That need to be alchemized as well. So we go through all of that. We go through past lives. If there's any past lives that you are still repeating patterns from, or like major events that have happened. Like I said, my client who had her little brother died on her watch, or the other client whose her kid was mauled by a bear and now she don't want to have kids in this lifetime. Like those things that are significant events, we'll revisit those and we'll rewrite them. Meaning like you made a vow to yourself, you told yourself something that day, like I will never do this again, or I will never, whatever. And you're repeating the pattern of that decision from 3 fucking lifetimes ago. So, because I was in Egypt. I was a violet temple priestess in Egypt named Nefintel Ma'ari. And so I was a violet temple priestess. But I remembered in that timeline, right? Because it was still acceptable during that time. Egypt is what came after Atlantis, right? And there was one of my temple priestess sisters had a son who had a golden aura. And he was one of the first golden children, really. So I woke him up too quick. I put him into his gifts too quick, and his ego took over. He thought he had access to immortality, tapped into the wrong fucking grid, and jumped off a fucking cliff and died. And so my sister basically left. She left the priesthood and she spent the rest of her day singing to the sea, because singing is it's not for entertainment. That's not what it is. It's like how you heal. It's how you alchemize things. It's how you activate gifts and stuff in other people, right? And so she spent the rest of her life singing to the water, which is memory. Water is memory, and water is very intelligent. And she was sad for the rest of her life. And I took a vow of silence. I turned off my gifts so that I only can see in my dreams. I cannot see in the waking world, because you can be fooled by what you see in your head, because there are entities that can project images into your head. You can also be fooled by what you hear, because there are entities that can project things, like will mimic the voice in your mind, And so I learned how to read with my body. But I made a vow to save that boy, because a part of his soul fractured. Well, that boy is my brother, who was my husband in my previous life. So for the last 3 lifetimes, I've been incarnating with him, trying to save him. And my whole life, I have been trying to save him from himself, because he has self-destructive behavior. And I realized that I'm not going to be able to save him. And not only that, it was because I blamed myself. Before he died in that lifetime, he told me it was not my fault. He just wasn't ready. And so sometimes we're carrying shit that we don't understand that we're carrying, and that life where he was my husband, I had a vision, a very intense vision. And he was supposed to grab the wheel and he yanked it. And we literally, when I came to, we were like tottering on like the edge, about to fall off this fucking cliff. And I opened the door and we fell into the fucking water. And then we fell for a long time. And so like this lifetime, I've been terrified of large bodies of water. Even when I was in the swimming pool as a kid, I thought that sharks were going to eat me. That's the first thought that I had, though, when we hit the water in that lifetime, was that a shark was going to eat us, because this was shark infested water. So, go for the code. But I also have this thing in my car to bust out your windows if you're ever in a body of water. And I would randomly tell people, if you're about to fall in the body of the water while you're in the air, you need to let your windows down so that you can get out. Otherwise, the pressure of the water you're not going to be able to get out, And so it was this much of the window that I got down, because we fell from so high that the engine cut almost immediately. you know. So not everything that you experience in this lifetime comes from this lifetime, you know. So yes, I'm doing readings, love. If you would like a reading, I'm doing one card pool readings because I have an Oversoul Codex, which is soul aligned technology. It's like a tarot deck, but it's not a tarot deck. One card pools are $11. Three card pools plus pools from my soul gift deck, which I don't sell. This is just, you only can get this from me. That's $22. If you want a reading, you can send it to my Cash App, BIGTAJJJ, JJJ, 3Js, or Zelle, TAJAMOORE16 @gmail. We were just kicking the shit until somebody came in who wanted a reading. So once I receive that, let me know when you send it and I can do the reading for you. But yeah, it is very interesting, you know. And so with that specific thing, Nene, because I know I just went on a motherfucking tangent. I didn't even answer your fucking question, but I do that sometimes because I'm a preacher girl. But with that tier 3, you do get access to me for a full month. There are 3 sessions that we hold that are 2-hour sessions. The first session, and I can tell you the full service and what you get with that, just so I have you here. So in the first session, it's 2 hours and you get a full flame lineage decoding, which is your primary and secondary lineages, and then any overlays that I see on you. You get an oversoul frequency repatterning, meaning that I figure out what your oversoul frequency is, and also the tones of your oversoul as well, because that's going to tell me what shadows and things you're going to experience. It gives you a really intricate understanding of what your soul energy holds, you know. And then a review of soul contract mapping, meaning that I have to look into your past life to see if there's any contracts that you tied yourself to that you need to kind of release yourself from, and I can help you to rewrite those as well. We look at your current shadow aspects, but we also look at activation points. So looking at that's going to be astrology, because I need to figure out when your next activations and things are. Then we also do like oracle tarot pools and stuff like that. Energetic check-in, which is what's resurfacing, what's suppressed, meaning like that comes with me checking back into you. What product is that on your website? Flame lineage readings. So the flame lineage readings on my website, www.bigtajj.com. Those readings there's 4 options. The first one is a tarot reading. The second one is the one that I'm explaining right now, which is this is tier 3. So this comes with the 3 sessions, okay? But this comes with check-ins, and then you also get a chat that's available. You have access to me for that full month. As we work through this, I give you reflective prompts, so you are going to have homework, okay? Also, we'll give you optional meditations. I also give you like coded messages and stuff. So we'll start it with a message from your oversoul, that type of thing. And then personalized rituals, personalized ceremonies, that type of thing. Session 2 is about retrieval of those sacred vows, those seals, or those roles that you may have done, like temple work, flame cities, thresholds, that type of thing. Also flame embodiment coaching, oversoul flame fusion points, meaning like fusion points are kind of like who your energy kind of interacts with best, that type of thing. But also points where you're going to need to integrate your oversoul, healing tools for your shadow triggers, releasing distortion-based templates as well, like martyrdom, or feeling like you have a fear of use of power, because that's something I had to navigate myself. And that also comes with mirror practices to do recordings, meditations, and oversoul messages, and journaling, things like that for self-initiation. And then that last one is about integration and new earth alignment, meaning helping you to align with the new earth frequency, because once you tap into that frequency, you can never come back. You know, you'll continue on with that frequency, which is good, because then you're making a choice to enter into the joy frequency, the unity frequency, and leave this old frequency of conflict and control and martyrdom behind, you know. And so we review the transformation across your sessions, guidance and anchoring in your oversoul essence, creation of your soul flame statement, meaning like you rewriting the energy of your life, you know, ritual alignment for sustaining this new template. And then we can do like flame oracle messages, that type of thing. I give you customized rituals. I give you a flame reading integration guide to help you continue on. And at that point, if you need an additional follow-up session, you can either pay $111 for 60 minutes, or you can join my Mirror Flame Circle on Patreon, which is $44 a month, where you get a monthly reading. We do collective work together, and I just kind of help you on your path. So that's tier 3. That's the 3 sessions. So I don't have mentorship, but I do have that as an alternative. Okay. Okay, I got you, my love. I see it come through. And so one card pull for you. All right, let's see where you are, love. And I'll pull a couple cards for you just because. Okay, I'm back. Try this again. Okay, so brown skin lady, I did the reading. It's gonna be on YouTube, so you'll have to go on YouTube to get the full reading because I can't even tell you what that reading was about. But I did a full reading for you, and what I wanted you to do was to come up because there was past life energy that was coming up for you that needed to be alchemized, my love. So I want you to go look at that and then reach out to me because yeah, because there's past, like I know I got the Lyra Elf Vault, I got the Silver Blue Flame, the Deep Indigo Flame, and then I got Flame Boundaries, but I can't remember the cards that I got. I know I got the, you know what? Give me a second. I might be able to, I know the Sovereign Moon was one of them. I just can't remember the middle card. But it was a great reading too, girl. I was excited about that. I was trying to figure out where you had went or if you had left. I don't have any mentorship opening right now. Ooh, okay, girl. This one's for you, Ada. I don't have any mentorship opening anytime soon. I'm right now probably in like section. The furthest that I have somebody is section 3 of the mentorship program, and there's 7 sections. As soon as I hop off a live, this will be on YouTube because I'm recording on YouTube right now. So this will be on you as soon as I hop off the live. This will be on YouTube, and I'm gonna put it on there as if you go into my psychic reading section, it'll be there. Okay, this is for you, Ada. Ada, let me know you still in the chat. I went ahead and pulled a couple cards for you, Ada. You still there? Okay, good. So the first card I get for you is the Page of Flame. Okay. She is the flame bearer. Okay. I get the Page of Flame. Now, this card is about curiosity. It's about soul discovery. It's about having that youthful passion. It's about spiritual initiation. Also, the spark of creation and new paths opening up. Okay. This is the Page of Flame. Now, the Page of Flame is the child of the fire, the one who carries the flame with innocence, wonder, and openness. This card speaks of a new soul cycle, one where you are beginning again, not from lack, but from remembrance. You may be learning how to walk with your gifts in a fresh way, feeling inspired by a new path, or reconnecting your creative essence after long silence. This card is a yes to exploration, meaning you need to be open to trying new things, exploring yourself a little bit more. A yes to trying, learning, expressing, and letting the fire be imperfect but true, meaning you don't have to wait for the perfect step to move. You just need to, clarity will come when you are moving. Remain curious in life and just kind of let your truth guide you. Things that feel good, do more of those. Things that don't feel good, do less of those. You're being invited into a sacred experimentation. Let the joy lead you. Meaning you got to start having fun again. You got to start enjoying life again. Let your spirit teach you. This is the phase of feeling the warmth of the fire again without needing to master it. Okay. So this isn't about perfection. It isn't about mastery. It's about you just trying to figure out who you are. You know, you allowing yourself to try new things, to explore yourself, to get back in that childlike spirit. Maybe go back to some of the things that you did as a kid as well. The lesson here is that your flame does not have to be perfect to be powerful. Okay. So this pushes you away from perfection. With this second energy that I get, you might be really in your head a lot, meaning that you might be living out of your mind instead of out of your body, because this card, which is the Knight of Waters, she's gorgeous. You see she's on a dolphin there. The Knight of Waters is about dropping into your heart space. Okay. It's about romance and emotional expression and following the pursuits of your heart. Okay. Not your mind, meaning like, if you're living in survival, you're more than likely making decisions based off of fear. This card is saying anchor back into your heart. Okay. It's about intuition guiding you. Okay. So the Knight of Waters is the lover, the dreamer, the seeker of soul connection. This knight does not charge with logic. They move with emotion, with intuition, with desire. You may be entering a phase of deep emotional openness, romantic pursuit, or a creative inspiration guided by your heart. This card signals movement towards something that stirs your soul, whether it is a person, a dream, or a cause. You're feeling you feel it pulling you, and so you follow, not because it's rational but because it feels true, meaning you cannot think of life as in practical terms. I'm trying, life led me into hermit mode for almost a decade. Okay, I've been there, my love. I've been there. I think it's time for you to get out. It's time for you to have fun. It's time for you to figure out what you actually like in life, and it's time for you to move towards the things that light your soul on fire, and the things that don't, um move away from them. And don't be afraid to do stuff alone. Like a big part of my journey was I started going to the movies by myself because I love the movies. Like I love movies in general. So I started just going at 10 o'clock in the morning so I could do my little commentary, and I ain't got to worry about people and their kids being in there. And I get me all my snacks and I have my milkshake, and I go to a theater that has the little recliner seats, and I have a ball by myself. You need to put yourself out there a little bit more. Okay. This night asks you to trust the tide, to ride the current of emotion, express love freely, and say what you feel. This is a great beauty in your tenderness. There is great beauty in your tenderness. Just remember to carry discernment as you move, meaning that empathy is okay, but empathy has to be used with discernment. If you go around people and they treat you like that you're an inconvenience, or what you have to say isn't important, or they act like you're they make you feel unseen and unheard or rejected, those aren't your people. Get new people. But I think that you're not going to find your people until you start doing the things that you love doing. Like if you're a person who loves art, you need to go to some paint and sips. You need to go to places where people who do art are going to be, because those people are going to have shared interests with you. So it's more so about aligning yourself based off of what you want from the heart frequency. Okay. Because the next card that I get, which tells me that you probably did a lot of being a lot to other people and not getting a lot back in return. Okay, because this is the Queen of Stone, but the Queen of Stone in reverse is martyrdom. Okay, so it's neglecting yourself for other people, prioritizing other people's needs in front of your own. Also, scarcity and self-worth. Okay, emotional exhaustion, overgiving, or depletion. So anytime I see this card, this means that you may become a sacred well gone dry. Okay, meaning you got exhausted with people. Okay, you may be pouring endlessly into other people's clients, families, community, without remembering to replenish yourself. You might believe you might believe to be worthy, you must be endlessly available or prove your value through constant doing. There may also be a discomfort in receiving, an old program that whispers you must earn your rest or justify your needs. This card says, what would change if you allow yourself to be held? Sometimes the queen forgets that she is not just the hearth, she's also the flame. So this card is, your presence is medicine, but you are allowed to need medicine too. Love, you said, I just can't right now. I have family and other responsibilities. I will when I can. But that's your mind. Your mind is what tells you that you can't. You can have fun in little ways that don't require you to spend any money. You can literally turn on music in the morning and dance around your house. You can literally, instead of going to a paint and sip, you can just order it off of Amazon for $15 and just do it in your living room. The part of you that says, I can't, is your mind. That's the practical side of you. That's the logical side of you, and it causes you to continuously continuously deprioritize yourself for other people. Because what you said is, I have family and I have other responsibilities. That means that you are prioritizing other people's comfort, other people's well-being over your own. Okay, that's what this card is about. This card is about self-neglect. Self-neglect is when you prioritize other people's needs in front of your own. Okay, the last card that I get is the Page of Waters. And I don't say that harshly, my love. I say that with compassion. Okay, because I've also been there. Okay, the last one is called the Page of Waters. Now, the Page of Waters is in reverse. Okay, and okay, I'm about to block you, my love, because we don't do that in my chat. Okay. The Page of Waters in reverse is emotional naivety, romantic idealism, lack of boundaries, oversensitivity, ungrounded feelings, and escapism. In the shadow side, the water bearer becomes ungrounded in their emotional landscape. You may be overwhelmed by your feelings, a lack of discernment about what's yours and what's other people, meaning taking on other people's emotions as your own, taking on other people's burdens as your own, or projecting fantasies onto people and situations. This page may also signal emotional immaturity, approaching love or intuition with wishful thinking rather than embodied wisdom, meaning you got to learn from your mistakes. Okay. There's beauty in openness, but without grounding, it can lead to confusion, disappointment, or burnout. So what this card is telling you is that feeling deeply is a gift, but learn how to carry the cup, meaning like you need to learn how to navigate your emotions. You need to learn how to let your emotions be a guide to you, right? Because I think so many of us get lost in the intensity of emotions because we don't understand what emotions are. But your emotions are really just telling you, I like this or I don't like this. Okay. If you have a positive emotional experience, that's a yes. Those are things you should do more of. But if you're having a negative emotional experience, feeling rejected, unseen, depleted, exhausted, anything like that, that's a no. You need to set a boundary and you need to move away from those things. You have to choose yourself. Okay. So that is what I have for you, my love. All right. I have Miss Alfreda. I have you next, my love. And I'll pull a couple cards for you. What do we have for Alfreda? I hear you. I know I've let my family take advantage. Thank you. You are welcome, my love. I have too. We all been there, baby. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And then there's nothing wrong with wanting to see your family do well, and wanting to help them. But you can't help them to your own detriment, because proper support and nurture and love and care for other people is built on a foundation of self-love. Okay. You cannot you cannot give to other people what you do not have. I think that it's okay to pour into other people when you have an abundance to give. Because then you have an abundance, and it's okay to be generous with that abundance. But the moment that you get down to your cup, that's self-sacrifice. The moment you start pouring into other people's cup from your cup, the moment you get depleted, you have to walk away for a second to build yourself back up. Because what tends to happen is people, takers are going to take. They'll take. And then when you need them, you go back to them same people and they're not able to offer that the thing that you gave to them back to you. And so then they wait till you fill your cup back up and then they come back out with their hand out. I'm a person who was depleted by my family too. And being everything to everybody, they act like they're handicapped when I'm around. And I had to be mean for a minute. I went 6 months of saying no. And then I felt so much shame. I hated it. But I had to shake back because I'm like, damn, I'm not able to say no to anybody without feeling shame. I'm going to have to do something different. Hey, I'm new to your channel and I've been listening to you about 2 weeks. I would like a reading. Hey, Michelle girl, or Mitchell girl. Is it Mitchell? We're codependent. They give, but they take way more. Okay, I got you. I'm not sure if you answered my question earlier on how to join the bulk purchase. The bulk purchase. Are you talking about the tier 3 of the flame reading where you have 3 sessions over a month and then you gain access to me for a full month? Is that what you're talking about, Clinisha? Or is it Kelnasha? Oh, I know I done fucked that up. I'm sorry, girl. It's not on purpose. Mitchell girl, I don't know how long ago that message was, but my Cash App is Big Taj with 3 J's, or you can send it through Zelle. Big Taj with 3 J's. Zelle is going to be tajamore16@gmail.com. This is not a regular reading. It's not a regular tarot deck. It's an oversoul codex. So it's basically aligned with your soul to tell you where you are on your path to remembrance. It has cards like the soul contract. It has the soul fragment. It has things that are not in traditional tarot because it's supposed to help you to figure out where you are on your journey back to remembering yourself and give you applicable things that you can do to kind of help you get there. Okay. If you want a 1-card pool, that's $11. A 3-card pool is $22. Second one, amazing. The new deck. Period. The second one, amazing. The new deck. Oh, okay. The new deck. So if you do the bulk order, if you go to my website, www.bigtajj.com, and that's 2 J's. On that first page, scroll down to where you see the tarot deck. It'll say the Flame Bearer's Pathway tarot deck. The first one says need that. That's if you want to purchase right now. But if you don't, if you are okay with waiting until I make the big order, then you need to select the one that says pre-order. Okay with waiting, I think is what it actually says. Okay with waiting. Yes, I'm Alfreda. Okay, I got you, girl. Mitchell girl is the same. I sent it through Cash App. Okay, I got you. I actually have you, my love. So let me start with your reading. Okay. What do we have for Alfreda? Well, welcome to the channel, my love. I love that you're loving the content. I feel like it took me a long time to get comfortable sharing my perspective, because I feel like I do have such a very broad perspective, or a broad way that I look at life. And so I really appreciate when you guys enjoy the content, because I think that my content used to go viral a lot a couple years ago. But I don't know how new y'all are to the channel, but someone did black magic on me from TikTok because I was talking too much, is what they said in my head. And I've actually had black magic done on me 3 times, but it was some men, and it was 3 men in suits, and they did not look like me. And that's what actually spearheaded my spiritual journey, because I said, I fight in the real world. Y'all ain't about to tear me up in spirit, baby. I'm gonna have to get down. I read every spiritual book I could get my hands on, and now I'm a spiritual mentor. Now I'm a okay, I'm gonna give you one more, Alfreda, just because you knew, girl. Okay. So it kind of pushed me into my spiritual journey, and now my content doesn't move as much, which I'm okay. I'm okay that it doesn't, because I only want people who resonate with what it is that I'm offering, which for me, it's not about numbers. It's just about reaching the right people, the people who actually need me. So I'm glad that you found me, my love. Okay. Yeah, I've told my story a couple times. I'll give it to you in just a second. Let me do this reading real quick, and then I'll give it to you right after. Okay. All right. And I might come back on here around 7 o'clock to do some more readings. I just have a client at 5. All right. So the first card I get for you, my love, is the Oversoul embodiment in reverse. Okay. This is what she looks like. Okay. This is my personal deck, or the deck that I created. Okay. So Oversoul flame body in reverse. Okay. Now, in the shadow, this is bypassing. Okay. This is disembodiment. This is escape into spirit. So it could be a couple different meanings. Also, Oversoul avoidance, resistance to embodiment, a fear of disruption. Okay. So when I see this card in the shadow side, it reflects a fear of truly inhabiting your vessel, meaning that you might live out of your mind. You probably need to drop into your body a little bit, meaning that you need to pay attention to your emotional world, because your body communicates to you through your emotions. Okay. Whereas your mind communicates through thoughts, your body communicates through emotions. Okay. So you may cling to spiritual practices, visions, or downloads as a way of avoiding life on earth. You may seek the oversoul out there rather than remembering it is here in your skin, in your breath, in your voice, meaning you're looking outside of yourself for answers. You need to go within. There can be resistance to grounding your mission, to charging for your gifts as well. A lot of times I'll see with this card is like people who want to help, right? And so they undercut the amount that they're charging for whatever it is that they're offering. Because they want it to be affordable or accessible, but really you're putting yourself in the energy of depletion, because you deserve to be compensated in alignment with whatever it is that you offer. Okay, so that's another thing that can come with this card. To committing to form, to being seen as the real you, meaning like you probably don't like being perceived. Sometimes this fear is ancestral, echoes of lifetimes when you were punished for being embodied in truth, or it may be recent, tied to collapse or trauma. The shadow of this card appears when you're avoiding the descent. You may be clinging to lightness, insight, or non-attachment, while your body, home, or relationships are asking for attention, meaning you could be keeping things kind of surface level right now in life. There may also be fear. What will anchoring this truth cost me? You might be witnessing the falling away of roles, partners, or careers, and mistaking it as failure, but it's the soul making space. Okay. This card calls you back to your roots, not as a regression, but as a restoration. You are not here to live above the earth. You are here to walk as your oversoul on earth. Your oversoul does not want you to float. It wants you to be rooted. Okay. So the advice of this card is you cannot build your temple in the sky. Bring your light all the way down. Okay. Allow yourself to be visible. Take up space. All right. It also tells you don't resist embodiment because it feels too heavy. Okay. Next, I get the King of Flame. And look at our king. Period, black man. Need that. That's our king. All right. But we have this in reverse. Okay. So this is the flame steward. Okay. This card in reverse is rigidity. Rigidity. Okay, meaning you might be very rigid. You might be trying to control everything. Again, living in your mind. Okay. This is flame control. This is fear of chaos. Sometimes it can be spiritual superiority, over structuring, or being obsessed with your legacy. In the shadow, the king forgets that fire is alive. He may become rigid, controlling, or overly attached to outcomes, which can look like money, can look like specific expectations that you have, having really high expectations. And when it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen, you feel like you failed. Okay. Feeling like or you may feel like you got to do more. The flame becomes a system, a brand, a doctrine, something that preserves rather than evolves. He may over identify with leadership, feeling the weight of needing to get it right or fearing what will happen if he lets go, which again can just be like sometimes it can cause stagnation in your life. And the reason why this can cause stagnation is because you're trying to make the perfect step. You're trying to make the right step. And if you feel like the step is not perfect, you might not make the step at all. Okay. Sometimes, and it causes you to mistrust yourself as well because you're trying to be perfect. Sometimes the Shadow King tries to own what he was meant to steward. Okay. But flame is not property, it is present, meaning you got to get more in your body. You got to get more present in your body. You got to move based off of your body's rhythm instead of the world around you. Okay. You were never meant to own the fire, only to honor its flow. And then we get the mirror of shame. Okay. You see, that's her little self in this pool of water. And that's her looking down at her little self. You see that? That's her little self in the water. That's her looking down at her little self. Above her is a Merkaba. Okay. Above her is a Merkaba. Now, this card is in reverse, the mirror of shame. All right. So this is about hiding. This is about self-rejection. This is about internalized shame. This is about dimming your light. The fear of being seen, emotional suppression, self-punishment, perfectionism, hiding your gifts, your internal critique tearing you up. Okay. So this is confirmation on everything that I've said. Okay. Is this mirror of shame in reverse? In shadow, this card can mirror the internalized voices of authority, community, or lineage wounds, which most of the time are our parents. If your parents were highly critical of you and they had high expectations of you, when you become adult, if you have not alchemized that, you will then have high expectations of you. And the voice of your mother enters your head. The voice of your father enters your head. And you start beating yourself up. Okay. You may sabotage your own expansion due to this fear of being too much or not enough. You may be holding shame that isn't even yours. The mirror of shame represents the soul still entangled with the stories of unworthiness and invisibility. You may be shrinking, deflecting, or playing small, not because you lack power, but because you've been taught to fear what power brings. The distortion arises when you believe the shame is proof of your brokenness rather than an invitation into deep self-return. This card often surfaces when the bearer is unconsciously performing safe versions of themselves, meaning you are keeping yourself in a box. You're afraid of taking risk. You're afraid of stepping out into the unknown because you're probably afraid of failure. Hiding behind masks of acceptability or humility, avoiding platforms, opportunities, or connections because of a deep visibility trauma. It may feel safe to disappear than to be misseen again, but your oversoul did not come to earth to hide. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to remember it. Okay, the advice of this card is you do not need to earn the right to be seen. You only need to show up as you are. Don't shrink to make other people comfortable. Okay. And then our last card is the Two of Waters, the sacred mirror. So this is another mirror energy. So confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. The Two of Mirror, Two of Waters. Okay. And this is also in reverse. Okay. So all of your energy is out of alignment, my love. It's really important you learn how to let yourself be seen, how to release control and let things anchor into the energy of I can't worry about it. Everything always works out for me. You know, release the reins a little bit. As a person who is a control freak, I got a lot of 4 energy. Okay. Rigid was my middle motherfucking name. It comes with so much anxiety. It comes with so much anxiety. It's so hard to just let yourself exist. Okay. I was constantly going, trying to prove myself, trying to do more. You don't get it by doing more. You need to anchor into presence and you need to meet the resonance of what it is that you want, not out of fear. Because if you do it out of fear, you're repelling it. Okay. So this card is about codependency. It's about illusions of oneness, emotional fusion. It's about love addiction or identity loss in connection, meaning someone who has gotten lost in relationships. Okay. Hey, Callie. In the shadow, the sacred mirror becomes a distortion. Instead of reflecting you back to yourself, you may project your soul's longing onto someone else and believe. Yes, I can help you, my love. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you a something to do. Okay. And shadow, the sacred mirror becomes distortion. Instead of reflecting you back to yourself, you may project your soul's longing onto someone else and believe they complete or define you. Emotional enmeshment can arise. You feel responsible for their feelings or forget where your truth ends and theirs begins. This card warns of illusions of oneness, mistaking closeness for union or connection for wholeness, meaning like in some of your relationships, you might be in this place of desperately wanting relationship or desperately wanting union, where you're not seeing the truth of the situation. Okay. You might be chasing soulmates to avoid being with yourself. The mirror only becomes sacred when you know who you are without it. So the advice is a mirror should reveal you, not replace you. Okay. So there's a couple things I want you to do. The first thing is a realignment. Okay. And this is going to be on YouTube. This will probably be the last reading that I do. Let me make sure. Yeah, that'll be the last reading that I do, y'all. Because I got a client in about an hour. So the first one is about realignment. Okay. The shame of being seen, that type of thing. There's two things I want you to do. The first one is a witnessing flame practice. So you want to light a candle and you want to sit in front of it and whisper truths about yourself, okay, that you've been afraid to speak out loud. Okay, sit in silence, light a candle, whisper truths about yourself that you've been afraid to let out, and then let them rise. For each one of them, say, even this is worthy of love. Okay, when you're ready, close with, I do not hide to be loved, I reveal to be free. And then you want to blow the candle out with intention. I'm stepping into this version of myself. Blow the candle out. Okay. That's the first thing I want you to do. The second thing I want you to do is the crown surrender ritual. Okay. Which is help with the rigidity. Okay. Place an object that symbolizes leadership or legacy before a candle. Okay. Say, I release the illusion that I must control what I was born to serve. Sit in stillness and ask, where have I held too tightly? What needs to breathe again? Allow space for honest answers to arise, okay? Then whisper, I remain devoted, but I let the flame move as it wills. The truest king is the one who bows, okay? Which means you need to surrender your control. That surrender ritual will help you to surrender the control, okay? What's it called? Candle what? The first ritual that I said is the flame witnessing ritual. You light a candle, you sit in front of it and whisper truths about yourself that you've been afraid to speak. Let them rise. For each one of them, say, even this is worthy of love. When ready, close with, I do not hide to be loved, I reveal to be free. And then you want to blow out the candle with intention. All right, Mitchell girl. Did you get that, my love? Does that make sense for you? Does that reading make sense for you, my love? You're welcome, Caitlin. And then I got to scram because I got a client. I might come back on at 7 o'clock my time, which I'm on Pacific time. So that would be 9 Central, 10 Eastern. But it just depends. I try to do this early so I could get in and get out. Because I got some stuff to do today. I need help. I'm upside down. Yes, it does. Okay, my love. Well, I'm happy to help. I genuinely hope those help you. This information or this session is going to be on YouTube as soon as I get done. Okay. It'll be in my psychic readings. section, but if you just go to my lives, it's literally the last live that I did. Okay. I will be on tomorrow at about 6 p.m. my time. So that's 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And I'm going to be doing a ritual for the Lion's Gate. Okay. It's an important energy because tomorrow's portal is helping us to release any old soul contracts, any that have to do with relationships, that have to do with things that you've told yourself, that have to do with government systems, that have to do with old soul contracts. And then it's followed by a full moon in Aquarius, which is about liberation, which is about you getting clear about what you want to step into. It is an amazing energy because you can literally end all of those energetic contracts that you've been bound to, and also end your connection with the government, because I don't like them. So I have a couple, I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow about the Lion's Gate, and then we're going to do a couple rituals together if y'all want to join me on live, and join me in that practice. Okay. I love y'all deep. I hope you have an amazing rest of y'all day. All of the services are available on my website. If you want a reading for cheap, I have mirror flame live readings on my website, which is basically you come on live and we do them together on live, because some people need to witness, because for them it could also be true, and so I hold those mirror flame live sessions as well if anybody is interested. But I also have full flame lineage readings and stuff on my website, which will tell you what your soul energy is, what your gifts are, what your shadows are, help you come up with a plan depending on what service you select on. So I have a lot of different services on my website that can help y'all. Okay, will do. And thank you so much. You are so very welcome, my love. I am super happy to help. So I love y'all. Been on here for 2 hours, so I gotta go. I love y'all. Have an amazing rest of y'all day, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Alrighty, bye.